Okay, here's another big one. Amina is a market researcher and plans to do door-to-door survey to find out how many people use her company's products. She uses the following model for estimating the cost. 3,000 is our constant. This is just to get everything set up before she ever goes knocking door to door. And she expects her slope to be 80. In other words, she expects about 80 dirhams per place she goes to visit. So N is our independent variable, and the total cost depends on how many places she visits. Use this model to answer the following questions. If no households are surveyed, what is the cost of the project? Well, in order to get set up, this would be our intercept, 3,000 dirhams. Okay. If 20 households are surveyed, what is the cost of the project? That 20 households, that goes into our independent variable. So all we have to do is plug in 20 for N. So 3,000 plus 80 times 20 equals 4,600. So if 20 households are surveyed, the total cost of the project is 4,600 dirhams. Okay, so far pretty easy. At what stage of the project, Amina has questioned 40 households. How much more would it cost her to question another 10? Okay, this is kind of tricky. You can either plug in 40 and then plug in 50 and subtract the two, or you can know that the constant won't change. So all you have to do is look at the cost associated surveying 10 houses. So if we do that, that would mean that we would take 80 and multiply it by 10 and ignore the 3,000 because that has already been factored in. So we would find it would cost her an additional 80 times 10. So it would cost her an additional 800 dirhams. Okay. Amina has been given a budget for the project of 10,000 dirhams, so that's all her boss is willing to spend. Find the greatest number of households she can question. Okay, so we're going to put that in for cost. 10,000. And that equals 3,000 plus 80 times Rn. And that's what we're going to be solving. So we move the 3,000 over, and we get 10,000 minus 3,000, or 7,000 equals 80 N. To solve for N, we have to divide now by 80. And we get the number of houses, the number of houses is 87.5. Now, normally you would want to round up to make it 88. But remember, these numbers are actually representing her real life. So she cannot survey 88 houses without going over her budget. Now, if she comes in under her budget, her boss doesn't mind. But if she goes over, then her boss will mind. So the number that you're actually going to write for the answer would be 87 houses. Okay. If Amina could persuade her manager to increase the budget specified in Part D, here, by 15%, find the percentage increase in the greatest number of households she can question. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. Okay, so we're doing two different things here. We have to first increase the budget by 15%. So we know from previously that if we take the new number is the base, 1 plus or minus the rate. That was back in the first unit. So we'll actually do that on our calculator. 10,000 times 1 plus 15%. And that means that our total cost now is 11,500 dirhams. And that still equals 3,000, plus 80 times Rn. Now we already know how many houses she surveys from Part D. So we need to find how many houses she can survey for Part E. Okay, so we'll start by moving the 3,000 over, and we get 11,500 minus 3,000 equals 8,500, and that equals 80 in. Okay, so now we need to divide by 80. So 8,500 divided by 80 gives me 106 houses. So the in here is 106. We've now answered half the question. We need to find the percentage increase in the greatest number of households she can question. So she went from 87 to 106. So as you recall, to do percentage increase, you put the change over the original amount. The original amount was 87. And to find the change, we need to take 106 and subtract 87. So we're actually going to put this in our calculator just as it looks. 106 minus 87 over 87. That gives us a fraction. We're going to multiply by 100 to make it a percent. And we're looking at a 20, and it says round your answer to the nearest whole percent. So 21.8 rounds to 22% increase. So she can make a case to her boss saying, if you increase my budget by 15%, you can get a 22% increase in households, and try to win her argument that way. So there's all different ways you can use math in order to solve the problems.